Episode 50. Now even the driver thought something ridiculous was going on. This was all Tanhua's fault. Nanshen grabbed Tanhua's wrists and quickly tied them with his tie, desperate to stop her from causing more chaos. But, of course, Tanhua misunderstood again. Eh? You like playing games? You even tied my hands. Not bad. She giggled, leaning toward him again with a teasing grin. You... Be quiet. Nanshen finally snapped. She was going to ruin his reputation at this rate. He held her wrists tightly, keeping her from moving any closer. Every time she tried, he pushed her back, leading to a series of playful struggles. At Nanshen's house. As soon as they arrived, Nanshen carried Tanhua, still tied up, and stormed inside. Fill the bathtub with the coldest water you can. He ordered his humanoid maid. Add all the ice you can find. Nanshen, are we going to your bedroom? Tanhua asked sweetly, rubbing her cheek against his chest. Nanshen nearly tripped. Bedroom? No. She was going straight to the bathroom. Ignoring her completely, he carried her toward the bath. Clack. Before Tanhua could say anything else, Nanshen immediately dropped her into the icy cold bath prepared by the maid. Splash. That should cool her down. Bure. Tanhua was instantly soaked in cold water, making a little bit of her sense return. Even though she still had a part of desire, it wasn't as intense as before. Wah? Cold. Tanhua blinked her eyes in surprise, finding herself inside cold water. She had regained her sense a bit, but didn't remember what had happened up until now. Why the hell was she inside cold water at night? Wait, where was she? Hey, serve you right, Nanshen snorted when he saw the cold water working well. If he let this girl stay inside the cold water for the night, maybe the aphrodisiac effect would be gone by morning. What? Big bro? Wait, what happened? Why am I inside cold water? Tanhua looked to the left and to the right, not knowing what exactly had happened to her. She thought she was sick before, so why the heck was she being bathed with cold water instead? Wasn't she sick? You don't remember anything? Nanshen raised his eyebrow coolly as he kept his eye on Tanhua, preventing her from getting out of the bathtub. Yeah, I don't remember anything. It's only hot and uncomfortable. I am sick, right? Tanhua shivered slightly, feeling the cold water touching her skin. But when she moved even a little, Nanshen glared at her like a mad devil. She was scared of Nanshen's glare. Did she do anything wrong? Did she make him mad? She didn't remember anything, okay? Sick? No, you are. Crazy. Nanshen approached Tanhua, who was drenched in cold water from head to toe with a dark face. Ho-ho, so after seducing him to that extent, this girl suddenly said she didn't remember anything, and even thought she was sick? It's true, it wasn't her fault she acted like that, but for some unknown reason, he was irritated. He did his best not to lay a hand on this girl, but she didn't even know what she had done. Isn't it irritating? Eh? Crazy? How Tanhua saw Nanshen approaching her, and a bad feeling suddenly popped up in her heart. Seeing his dark, smiling face instantly made her unable to talk. Hey, isn't Nanshen's face kind of weird? She means. Doesn't he look like a grim reaper now? Is he mad? Wait, why would he be mad? She didn't do anything wrong. Tap, tap, tap. Wait, he is here. Don't come close. Go away, go away. Nanshen approached Tanhua, making the girl subconsciously move backward, even though she was still inside the bathtub. For some unknown reason, she was afraid when Nanshen made this kind of face. He was smiling, but his lips were twitching, and his face was as dark as the night. That couldn't mean anything good, right? Tuck. Tanhua's back hit the edge of the bathtub, making her unable to move back anymore. With her instincts telling her she had to run, Tanhua was about to stand up and run away, when suddenly Nanshen pushed her shoulder, making her unable to move. Bam! Nanshen pushed Tanhua's shoulder with his right hand, while his left hand was placed on the wall right beside Tanhua's neck, completely trapping her between his hands. Be big bro? Tanhua fearfully lowered her head, afraid of meeting Nanshen's eyes. Just now she saw his eyes, and they were so scary. He was looking at her as if he was going to swallow her completely. Just what the hell happened between them? Why does Nanshen look this scary? Mama! You. Nanshen's face came closer to Tanhua's, making the girl flinch out of nowhere. How could she not flinch when she saw Nanshen's handsome face right in front of her own? Yes? With a trembling voice, Tanhua shut her eyes and crossed her arms in front of her chest subconsciously. Somehow, this was getting dangerous. But she couldn't refute Nan Shen at all. She didn't know why. You did something insolent to me, and you don't even remember anything. So, this is my warning to you. A glint of evil flashed through Nan Shen's eyes as he bent over, making his face even closer than before. Hey, girl, don't play with fire. You may not know that I already know about your secret, but that doesn't mean I won't do something if you act like this again. Wait, be big bro? Before Tanhua could do anything, Nan Shen grabbed her jaw and kissed her neck. When his lips landed on her skin, Tanhua's body shuddered subconsciously. Be big bro? Nan Shen squeezed Tanhua's cheek, making it hard for her to scream or shout. But she was utterly confused by what Nan Shen was doing now. Is he crazy? Why the heck is he kissing her knee? He also bit and sucked it. Tanhua shut her eyes again when Nan Shen slowly sucked her neck and playfully bit it, leaving a small yet obvious red mark. She felt dizzy. Someone help? She was sexually harassed by her own boss. Help. Tanhua's hand was still tied with Nan Shen's tie, so she could only hit Nan Shen's chest to stop what he was doing to her. Of course, since Tanhua was exhausted, how could she make Nan Shen feel anything? It was only tickling him. Nan Shen himself enjoyed what he was doing as a severe warning for this little girl to never play with fire again. Did she think he was a saint who could let this incident pass without any punishment? Hell no. Be big Bree Tanhua's face turned red when Nan Shen moved his lips to another part of her body, doing the same thing he had done before, kissing her neck and leaving a mark on it. Wait, this is getting dangerous. Is boss being possessed now? What happened? Boss stop. Tanhua pleaded as tears began to form in her eyes. She was scared, but what made her want to cry was the fact that she somehow enjoyed this. Was she crazy? Or was it because she was charmed with black magic or whatever it was? Why the hell did she? She enjoy this? No. Tanhua didn't want to admit that her heart had started beating faster just from sensing Nan Shen's hair graze her cheek when he delivered his warnings to his little doggo. Her mind was already on the edge of collapsing. Boss Nan, are you crazy? Why the heck are you attacking her? Nan Shen had planned to give her a warning, thinking that Tanhua would remember the shameful thing she did to him, and that would be enough of a lesson. Yet, she didn't remember anything. This made him have the urge to teach her a lesson, whether she was conscious of what she had done before or not. How could she tease him like that and now expect to leave it as if nothing had happened? He was a man, okay? It was already super good that he didn't immediately devour her on the spot. Otherwise, she might have cried later. Never tease me again, little who. Nan Shen gave one last kiss on Tanhua's neck before releasing her. If he did this any longer, he was afraid he wouldn't be able to hold himself back. Surprisingly, she smelled good. He just couldn't continue giving a warning to this oblivious girl. Otherwise, he might snap and do something bad to her. It was close. Blam! What? What the? Tanhua saw Nan Shen suddenly leave the room and close the bathroom door, leaving her alone, soaked in the cold water. The hell? What was wrong with him? Just now, he kissed her neck. And then he left her in this cold water? Tanhua wanted to curse Nan Shen and call him crazy, but since she still felt the heat remaining inside her body, she chose to cool herself with the cold water for a while. She just couldn't understand what made Nan Shen attack her like that. He said it was because of what she did to him, but she didn't remember anything. That night, Tanhua was left alone to cool down in the bathroom, while Nan Shen cooled down his desire by taking a cold bath in his own room. The next day, Mai Shu came to get Tanhua, aside from asking her to go shopping, also to ask about her condition. What? I was drugged with an aphrodisiac last night? Tanhua's jaw dropped to the floor when she heard Mai Shu's explanation about what had happened to her last night. Yes, and we are working to catch the culprit now. Mai Shu nodded her head, feeling quite guilty about it. Ha. Don't tell her this is the reason why Nan Shen suddenly acted weird last night and told her that she had done something bad to him. If it was true that she was under the effect of an aphrodisiac last night. What the heck did she do to Nan Shen to make him snap? He must have felt disgusted that a man seduced him. Right? That's why he did that strange thing yesterday. Right? Tanhua's face blushed red, recalling what Nan Shen had done to her yesterday. No wonder he acted like that. It turned out it was for revenge. She didn't remember what she had done to Nan Shen, but since it was an aphrodisiac, could it be she? Gya. Tanhua shook her head, reassuring herself that she had only seduced Nan Shen in a moderate way. There was no way she had done something shameless. Tan Hua and Mi Shu were talking seriously, discussing last night's incident. They didn't know that 4 men were lurking behind them. Those people were, of course, hired by Mi Sha to kidnap Mi Shu, just like in the story plot. Tan Hua was still talking with Mi Shu when suddenly 4 big men appeared from behind and covered their noses with handkerchiefs that were already drenched in a sleep drug. What? What the heck? Tan Hua wanted to kick the men holding her body, but she found herself without any energy at all. She was about to move her body again when suddenly one of the men punched her stomach, making her faint on the spot. Bam! Tan Hua. Mi Shu was about to cry when she saw the kidnapper punch Tan Hua and make her faint on the spot. She was more worried for Tan Hua's well-being than herself, since the kidnapper didn't do anything to her, aside from covering her nose and mouth. This liquid on the handkerchief made her sleepy. Mi Shu didn't try to resist when the kidnapper dragged her and Tan Hua into their car. They were in a rather quiet place around the mall, so not many saw this scene. But even if someone saw this, they thought it was filming since one of the men pretended to be a cameraman, successfully making the kidnapping look like a film shoot. Mi Shu's consciousness began to fade, but with her last strength, she managed to press Ren Yuan's contact number on her phone, which she had hidden in her skirt pocket. Ren Yuan. Help! Mi Shu didn't send any message other than So's before she hit the send button. Right after she pushed the send button, Mi Shu lost consciousness and fell into a deep sleep. Clap! Brummum. The car immediately departed once Mi Shu and Tan Hua were shoved into the second row of seats. This crime happened so fast that it was over in less than 5 minutes. Now search their phones and throw them outside. Who knows if they have GPS installed in them? The leader of the kidnappers, who sat in the front seat next to the driver, immediately told his subordinates in the second row to throw away Mi Shu and Tan Hua's phones. The 2 men watching over Mi Shu and Tan Hua immediately did a body search, and in less than a minute, they found both Mi Shu and Tan Hua's phones. Boss, this one's phone is so old, the man in the back thought they had to keep one of the phones to contact that rich CEO for money. They did this because someone told them to, but they could get more money if they threatened this boy's boss, right? Their employer had given them information about these 2, which made them come up with this idea. Just throw the girl's phone and keep the boy's phone. We needed to threaten this boy's boss. From what I know, this boy's boss is a rich CEO, and he values this boy pretty well. The leader of the kidnappers casually grabbed Mi Shu's phone and threw it outside the car, instantly breaking it. The leader of the kidnappers whistled happily as they headed to the place his employer had prepared for this. He would soon get money from his employer and then extra money from threatening this boy's boss. That employer also said he and his friends could do anything they wanted with the girl. Such a beautiful girl who wouldn't be tempted to take her? The leader of the kidnappers and his other subordinates laughed in a vulgar way as they eyed Mi Shu with lustful eyes. Not only that, but they also planned to torture Tan Hua for fun. Tan Hua and Mi Shu didn't know that both of them were in a very dangerous situation. They needed help. Meanwhile, at Ren Yuan's office, ping. Ren Yuan was in the middle of a meeting when the sound of an incoming notification rang from his phone, making everyone in the room simultaneously look in his direction. Ren Yuan raised an eyebrow, feeling a little annoyed by the notification, but he still checked it briefly. He thought it would be his parents asking him about a few things when suddenly he saw it was Mi Shu. Oh, it was Mi Shu. It was rare to see her message him first. Ren Yuan immediately opened Mi Shu's message, thinking she might need him for some work or something, when, to his surprise, it was only a single word. So's. What? So's? Wasn't that a distress code? What happened? Ren Yuan suddenly stood up from his seat and told his secretary to stop the meeting, because he had something more important to do after seeing the So's message from Mi Shu. Damn it, Mi Shu, what happened to you? Ren Yuan remembered that Mi Shu told him she was going to hang out with that office boy from Nan Shen's company, so why the heck had it turned into a dangerous situation? Back to Tan Hua. Tan Hua's head was dizzy after being hit in the stomach by the kidnapper, but slowly, she regained consciousness. Where? Where is this? When Tan Hua slowly opened her eyes, what she saw in front of her was a small room made entirely of wood. The room looked dark and eerie, with many broken parts here and there. It didn't seem like a decent place at all. Tan Hua tried to move her hands, but then she felt something rough on her wrists, and for some reason, she couldn't move her hands at all. Her hands were tied. Tan Hua instantly realized that her hands were tied to a pillar right behind her, and the knot was so tight that the rough rope grazed her wrists. It hurts. Not only her wrist hurt, but her stomach also hurt. It must be when the kidnapper punched her stomach. They used such strength just to make her faint. Damn, was she being kidnapped now? Yeah, she was. Looking at this empty room and how she was tied. She was kidnapped for real. Her hand was tied so she couldn't do anything. And what about her legs? Tan Hua looked down slowly and saw her legs were tied in a joint position. If it was like this, she couldn't kick or do any kind of self-defense. This was bad. With her legs also tied, how could she escape? Damn. Tan Hua began to feel the danger she was in now. But more importantly, she was worried about my Shu. She saw the kidnapper also took her, so where could she be? Tan Hua tried to move her head to find Mishu. She had thought Mishu would be put in a separate room from her, but then she saw Mishu right behind her. She was also tied to the pillar now. Mishu. Good grief, they weren't separated. Tan Hua sighed in relief. She had wanted to speak for a while, but the effect of the drug not only made her sleepy, but also made her weak. She couldn't find the strength to speak at all. She had to do something. As fast as she could before those kidnappers. Tan Hua had just started to think of a plan, when suddenly the door to the room opened with a creaking sound, startling her to death. Damn, they are here. Speak of the devil. Tan Hua tightened her fist and quickly pretended she was still asleep, so as not to arouse the kidnapper's suspicion. She could pretend to be unconscious while listening to their conversation, right? Finally, we can take a break for a bit. One of the kidnappers groaned when he entered the room, followed by the sound of a few footsteps approaching. Creak. Yes, we already received the money from that rich lady. Now we just have to keep watch over this girl and boy here. Another man entered the room, making the wooden floor creak again. We have to let the boss handle things first as usual, the third man said while smoking, instantly filling the room with smoke. Tan Hua, who unconsciously smelled the smoke, had the urge to cough, but she held it back since they would know she was already awake if she made any noise. Damn, someone smoked. Tan Hua tried her best to listen to these guys' conversation, and from what she heard just now, it sounded dangerous. These men said they were waiting after receiving money? Were they referring to Mi Shu and her? This wasn't just dangerous anymore. It was super dangerous. Tap, tap, tap. Wake them up. A deep and hoarse voice of a man suddenly sounded inside the room, after the sound of footsteps approaching. From how he talked, this man must be the leader. Copy that, boss, one of the men grinned as he approached Tan Hua to wake her up. Of course, how the man woke her up wouldn't be anything nice. Sensing someone coming closer to her, Tan Hua immediately thought of a way to wake up naturally. She didn't want these men to wake her up at all costs. They would hit her or something, judging by how cruel they were when they punched her stomach the moment they had just met. Tan Hua moved her body a little as she slowly opened her eyes, while acting like someone who had just woken up from a deep sleep. Where am I? Tan Hua grumbled faintly, looking very weak as she woke up just before the man could slap her awake. Damn, the boy is awake. The man cursed slightly, seeing Tan Hua was already awake before he could do anything to her. Drag him here and wake up the girl. Don't touch her yet, the leader said, slowly smirking as he observed Tan Hua. He planned to make this boy suffer before threatening his boss so that the ransom would be prepared immediately. Come here. Another man released Tan Hua from the pillar but kept her wrists tied together. He then dragged her by her collar and threw her to the ground in front of the leader. While Tan Hua was dragged, Mi Shu was also dragged and thrown roughly, right in front of the leader's feet, making Mi Shu slowly wake up too. Hey, let's play a game, shall we? The leader looked at Mi Shu, preparing to use them to pass the time. Fuck! This was bad. The leader's words successfully made Tan Hua and Mi Shu shudder in fear, seeing how the men around them had moved closer, about to do something to them. At the same time, at Nan Shen's company. What? Mi Shu and Tan Hua went missing? Nan Shen slammed the document in his hand onto the table upon hearing Ren Yuan's deduction a few seconds ago. Yes, Mi Shu sent me and So's message, and I can't call her at all. Ren Yuan gritted his teeth, thinking about how his beloved girl was nowhere to be seen. She was kidnapped. He was sure. Can you track her location? Nan Shen's body was trembling slightly since he was worried for both Mi Shu and Tan Hua. Maybe no one was more worried for Tan Hua than Mi Shu since no one knew when Hua was a girl, but no matter how strong Tan Hua was, she was still a girl. I can't. The GPS isn't moving from a certain spot, and I already sent people there. Someone indeed saw a young girl with a young boy being kidnapped, but they thought it was for filming. Ren Yuan kneaded his forehead, feeling very anxious. The GPs couldn't help at all, and he had sent his men to search every place near where they found Mishu's phone. But up until now, they still hadn't found her. Do they know where the car headed? Nan Shen's face darkened at the thought of the kidnappers being very organized. They must have been hired by someone to kidnap Mishu and Tan Hua. To even think of faking a kidnapping as filming. Those kidnappers must be quite good at their job. They saw where the car headed, but that's it. They don't even remember the car's license plate. If the car got switched in the middle, they wouldn't know. Ren Yuan sighed, thinking about how useless he felt now. The GPs and Mishu's phone couldn't help at all. Wait. I just remembered. Nan Shen was silent for a while before he patted his forehead, feeling like the stupidest person alive. How could he forget? He had inserted a G-piece inside the bracelet he gave to Mishu and Tan Hua. He did it for Mishu because he wanted to keep track of her, and for Tan Hua since she was his doggo back then. He didn't know if Mishu was wearing the bracelet now, but Tan Hua always wore it if he remembered correctly. I know where they are. I inserted a G-piece into Tan Hua's belongings before. Nan Shen was too embarrassed to say he put the G-piece inside Tan Hua's bracelet, so he lied, saying it was inside her belongings. The hell? Tell me from the start. Let's go now. Ren Yuan almost kicked Nan Shen for his forgetfulness, but since Nan Shen could find them, he couldn't be too mad. Nan Shen began tracking Tan Hua's location, using his phone while Ren Yuan called his men to follow him, and Nan Shen as they drove to the place Nan Shen directed. Mishu, wait for him. Back at Tan Hua's location. Bah. Tan Hua groaned in pain when one of the men hit her leg with a wooden bat for the nth time. Her face was already blue from the bruises. Her lips were ripped and bleeding. Her nose. Forget it. Now these people were hitting her legs too. Tan Hu. Mishu was already crying since the first time Tan Hua was being beaten up for her sake. Tan Hua had been beaten for quite some time now, but only groaned once or twice. This boy is so tough, boss. He won't scream. The man who had been beating up Tan Hua, whose hands and legs were tied tight, complained to the leader. This boy looked weak, but somehow he could bear all the hits they gave him. Aim for his legs now. It would hurt more. Now use a knife. The leader only chuckled as he threw a sharp knife to the man in charge of torturing Tan Hua. And no. Don't. Mishu was already desperate, seeing Tan Hua silently enduring the beating. Stop. Stop torturing Tan Hua. Everybody saw Tan Hua as a man, but she knew Tan Hua was a girl like her. She was even younger than her. Tan Hua looked at Mishu and shook her head weakly. She knew Nan Shen must be on his way here, even if it was just her feeling, so she only had to endure this for another minute. It was painful, very painful. Her face was hot and filled with bruises. Her eyesight had gone blurry. Her teeth had broken one or two from the punches. Her lips were bleeding and her ribs hurt.